Hello, folks. I see my little picture there. It's not where it's supposed to be. Hi, this is Kathy McAllister of T-Wife Creations. Yeah, let me see if I can move my picture. Let me go bigger here. Sorry. Okay. There I am. Okay, I was a tiny little thumbnail of me. Okay, so I came on out of the blue, as usual. No one ever expects when I'm going to come on. I know I need to do better. But I just was coming on because I needed to do a video about the Little Witch class that's coming up on September 26th, Friday, September 26th. I wanted to provide some prep information for those of you who are signed up for the class. So I'm gonna take myself away here and go to the overhead. And okay, so what I have done is I have repainted this piece. And hi, Virginia, how are you? Oh my gosh, Julia, okay. So you went to go visit Lori Speltz, I guess, Julia. Sorry, I missed all that. Hello, Carolyn. Thank you guys for coming in. Yeah, so this is kind of impromptu, but I wanted to go over some pointers on this for those of you who might be taking the class. Also, there's just some information I'm going to share that might be helpful as well. But I have repainted this piece and with a different font than what was here. So there's Little Witch in all of us. I made it a little bit bolder. So I just wanted to talk about some of the things that you might need to do to get ready for this. I still need to do the bats and the stars on the second piece, and then I will have the pattern out this week to everyone who is registered. But one of the first things I wanted to show you is, as Carolyn knows, because she always does Lynn Andrews classes, that when you're doing color washes, which we're going to use to do this piece, so this piece involves a lot of color washes. It's extremely easy to paint. I know it kind of looks like, oh my goodness, I have to paint a face, but it actually is a really easy piece to paint. And so I talk about using juicy brushes to do color washes, and the best ones, when I say juicy brushes that are going to hold a lot of moisture, liquid, and also give you control. And Lynn Andrews floaters also come to a point. So when you use them, you're able to do fine detail, but also apply color washes. So you don't necessarily have to have her brushes, but they're very helpful. I used the 8. I didn't use any other size doing this, so you can get by. Hi, Bonnie. Welcome in. You can get by with just one brush. Now, a lot of you may have quills, and quills also can work. I don't know if I've got a smaller one. This is a big quill. This is much too big. They're fine. They don't hold the tip as well as the Lynn Andrews brush. But anyway, a juicy brush is very helpful. Having like a flat brush may not be as useful. You kind of need some kind of round that will hold your fluid, your paint. So that's one thing you're going to need. And then the other thing you're going to need are at least 2 stencil brushes. And I'm suggesting the 3/4 inch stencil brush. This is the Dynasty. That's how we're going to create this background. So, but you really need 2, one for the yellow colors and one for the blue colors. And you can use a smaller brush, you can use a bigger brush, but you do need 2 stencil brushes, okay? And then the other thing you're going to need are some dry brushes. And you can pretty much use whatever kind of dry brush you want. So, for instance, I have the Dynasty 200, which is a blending brush that can be used for dry brushing. Again, this is a Lynn Andrews dry brush. It's actually a stippler, but I love it as a dry brush. So that's also really good because all of hers are ovals, and I really like that shape for this piece. So you do need a couple of dry brushes. Now, you will also be using a stencil, and if you ordered my pattern, my wood bundle, you would have received a surprise star stencil in your bundle. And also, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, if you haven't registered for the class for Friday, September 26th, and you'd like to do it, it is on my website, and twife.com, and I did list that information in this video, but it may be a little tight on getting the wood to you, but I could probably ship it priority mail and still get it to you, or you are also able to do it without the wood bundle, to just sign up for the class, the Zoom class, and the e-pattern. So anyway, but you would have gotten these. So, I said 2 3/4 inch stencil brushes, which you do need for the background, but you need a smaller stencil brush for applying the stars onto her robe. Okay, so those are some of the brushes that you need. Okay, so then the other thing is, a lot of these paints are going to be you can chop and switch them out. And I will give you a list of replacement paints so that in case you don't have like Tiger Lily, you can use Scarlet. But this neon torrid orange is kind of a must. You can see it's in the pumpkin, it's in the harvest moon, it's in her hair. Tangerine's close, but it is not really the same. So you kind of need torrid orange. If you don't have it, it's fine. You can work around it. But the torrid orange makes everything pop. So that is one thing I wanted to mention to you ahead of time, in case if you wanted to make it, more similarly like this, that if you don't have this at home, you can order it or go pick it up. Now, something a little tricky. I used to do her hat. I'll show you the 2 different versions of her hat. So this is the one I most recently did. So you can see it's got this interference going on that makes the black kind of have purple hue, glitter. So, and then the original one I did is here, and it's a similar thing. It's just a little different. So when I did this one, I used a little bit of decor wax, which you don't have to have, because you're able to get around doing this piece without having the decor wax. But what I did use is some Enchanted Shimmer, and also the Enchanted Iridescent Top Coat Blue. This one is still available, but I think I heard that Deco Art is getting rid of these products. If anyone knows anything different, let me know. So I couldn't even find that one on the website anymore. But they do still have this one. And I don't know what kind of interference glaze top coat that you can find that will work. But Folk Art has a number of they're called Dragonfly Glaze. And I went ahead and experimented with that, because this one was the Enchanted, okay? The Enchanted Blue, so you can kind of see that shimmer. And then this one, I came in with this Dragonfly, okay? And they've got this in a number of different colors. So that creates that kind of iridescent glow to it. But I did also use this blue kind of right here on the edges. And the other thing I used is you can use like white, a white pen, white liner to create some of those highlights. But another thing I used during this, and you don't have to have it, it's just kind of an interesting product. It's a white Wink of Stella, and it's a brush marker. So, and it creates this like starlight iridescent white, and that's how I did some of the highlights in her hat. So there's a little bit of glimmer and starlight to it. But, like I said, you can just use white paint. There's some other products that DecoArt has, like Starlight Varnish that you can play with. You can mix glamour dust with varnish to create some of this iridescence. The biggest difference between just like using this with varnish, these two products have what you call interference. So it actually kind of makes the color of whatever you're painting on black change colors. So you get two colors. So I was going to show you what that looks like. So like with the bats, that if you ordered the wood bundle, you will have gotten some bats. So I just wanted to show you, for instance, if we use the Dragonfly glaze, what it looks like. Let me just put that on, show you. Okay, so the Dragonfly glaze, and if I just put it on the edge here, just want to give you a couple of different options. So I'm not really sure on DecoArt if they are discontinuing the Enchanted, but somebody had said something like that. Okay. So let me see if you can, let me go in a little closer. Okay, so you see what it did to the wings? So that's what we're trying to get on the hat, and then also you can play around with it on the bats. So that was the Folk Art Dragonfly glaze. Okay, so then I want to show you what the blue Enchanted looks like. Since you can still get that one, I just want to show you a little bit of the difference between the two. Okay, pop one of these out. All right, so if I go along the edge here, dry that one, and then you can kind of see how different they are. Okay, so you can see how different the top coat, the blue top coat Enchanted is versus the Dragonfly glaze. So anyway, you may have something else in your arsenal that works really well. Just to show you what the Decor wax looks like. Oh, and also like the Inkastella, you can see it now, it's coming up. When you first put this down, you don't initially see it, and then it comes up as white with glitter. Okay, so say if I pop out another one of these, and I just want to show you if you have any kind. I know that DecoArt has they have a wax as well, iridescent wax. This is one that I sell. It's Prima. It's used for furniture refinishing. And this tube, because it is used on furniture, this is going to go a long way. Well, if you're only doing tiny little things, I mean, this will end up lasting a lifetime. So a little bit goes a long way on these waxes. But I just want to show you kind of how that looks too. So that's an option. So that gives you a couple of options, and maybe you have something at home. I have this Starlight varnish as well, but it is just like a glittery finish. There's none of this interference that you get. Okay. So the other thing that will be helpful to have, there's no, the witch part is extremely easy to paint. The words, there's a little witch in all of us, might end up taking a little bit more time. It's super straightforward, but in order to get it to color in all the engraving and to get it to pop, you have to do a few things. And one of the things you have to do is, okay, so like I was trying to see if they're, hey, Kathy. Oh, thank you, Virginia. I think she's awfully cute too, in kind of a sassy way. All right, so I was thinking, okay, is there an easier way to paint these words? Like if you paint in between all the letters. Oh my gosh, no, that is not going to work. So all of this is painted in Stormy, this color here. And this is another one, and besides the Torrid Orange, you really need Stormy. Otherwise, your Midnight Sky is not going to be the right color. But I just went ahead and painted in the whole thing. And this isn't even one coat, and you can see that you're losing your letters. So I suggested if you have a white fabric pencil like this Fonson Porter that you can get through Amazon, that you're able to just go through. And the reason I'm suggesting that you trace it first is this is erasable. Like, sure, you could come in with your Posca pen and go over all of this. Well, if you get it outside of the line, you can't correct it. So this, I'm just suggesting that it will be easier for you to see what you're doing if you trace it before we paint it. And then the next thing I did is I used my Posca marker, my Posca paint pen, and I colored in the letters. And after I did that, we'll have to come back and paint it. So if you've got a paint marker, so something that you know is not going to run or bleed. So these Posca markers are designed to be acrylic paints, right? So anyway, it's helpful if you have something like that for this project. But if you don't, we'll work around it. And then the other thing I did was, you don't have to do this, but like I came back on her eyes and I used a black permanent marker, pen, paint marker. And I tend to use these Rotrine ones that I order the ink for. However, you don't have to use that. This is a very inexpensive pen that you can use. I got the Shuttle Art permanent marker. You just want to make sure it's permanent, that it won't run. You don't have to do this. You don't have to add that in. And that's like the only area really that you're going to need a pen like this. So you can just like let it go and not worry about it. But I don't know if you can see how fine of a tip this is. So anyway, it may or may not be necessary, but I'm just throwing it out there so you can see what you've got in your arsenal to use. Okay, so let me make sure what else we need. Okay, so I wrote my little notes here, my cheat notes. Oh yeah, gold paint pen. And again, this is optional. So, let me see. So what I did after I finished this, I just wanted the edges to pop a little bit more. So I came back with this Pilot gold marker, and there's all different kinds of markers that you can use. And no, you don't have to put gold on this, but that's what I use. So I just wanted to let you guys know. So that's that. That's the gold. Let me see. I think that's most everything. But like we'll be talking about using tea berry on this. And if you don't have tea berry, there's other substitutions. If you don't have tiger lily, there's other substitutions. Torrid orange, neon, nope, there's no substitutions. So again, I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover on this. And again, if you have registered, I will be sending out the digital patterns this week. And because I wanted to repaint her with this new font and get some new photos, put them into the pattern so you can see this nice and fresh. Because I painted this last year for convention. Anyway, I don't know if there's any questions that you have about prep. But when you get your e-pattern and you're looking at it, and maybe you go back and look at this video, if you do have any questions, just message me. And that's pretty much all I needed to say today, I think. Let me go back into there I am. Okay, so I just got back in. My husband and I had to pick apples. So I think this one tree, let me see how many, I guess 8 apple trees. And so the one that was in our backyard, I don't know, I guess it was, 400 apples. So anyway, that's what I did before I came in here. Yeah, I wish you guys were closer so you could have some apples. But anyway, if anyone has any questions, you know where to find me. Just holler. And thank you so much for dropping in to see me today. And I will check you guys out the next time. So this is Kathy McAllister, Tea Wife Creations. I'll see you later. Love ya. Bye-bye.